Good evening, everybody. It is Sunday night again. Welcome to another live with Study English with Pedro. I'm changing. I'm including the name. I don't know why, but actually I do know why, because some people are trying to indicate the class or refer the class IndyCar. So I'm going to change everything and call it Study English with Pedro. So sorry guys, this class is free, but anybody can watch. You can send anybody, refer anybody to the class. I don't contact any of the subscribers. If you want to subscribe, go ahead. This is not for for students. So or it's for anybody. So I hope the more the merrier, as the expression goes. All right, today is Sunday. Well, I'm sorry, what is today? Today is Sunday, August 2nd. There is probably one more month of winter. We have had a very good winter so far. Até agora. So we've had a very good winter so far. I'm looking forward to September and October and November and December when it gets warm. I don't like the cold weather, especially when you can't go outside. There is nowhere to go with this coronavirus. There are a few places, but I don't want to get the coronavirus. All righty. One more thing. You can see that I still haven't cut my hair. I haven't cut my hair in 7.5 months, almost 8 months. I haven't cut my hair. It has been 7.5 months since I cut my hair. The last time I cut my hair was 7.5 months ago. The last time I cut my hair was 7.5 months ago. Or my hair was cut, voz passiva, 7.5 months ago. And I need desesperadamente, a haircut. Ooh, it looks bad. Remember, I am still ashamed of my hair. I will not take off my hat for the entertainment. All right. I hope everybody has had a good weekend. We are ready to get started. And when I do go to share screen, I will not be able to see any of the comments if you have any to send. The other thing I have here is also, as you know, in the last 2 weeks, I have used a bigger me and a smaller PowerPoint. Tell me what you think. You can send a message on through here, or you send a message on WhatsApp if you like later on. However, I am going to compensate with larger print, so you can see. Those of you with the smaller phone, I won't name names, Carlos. So we are going to see a smaller PowerPoint, but a bigger font, bigger letters. All right, what do we have here? Oh, looky here, we have Rafael Santos. He is on the line, so he is ready and waiting to go. So thank you, Rafael, for the message. Sorry. Então, I'm going to get started, and I'm going to go to share screen here in just a second. It takes about 30 seconds. Please be patient, everybody, as we go through this. All righty, share screen. Here we go. And compartilhar. We're ready to go. All righty, guys, we are on share screen. I'm going to go to PowerPoint right now. Here we are. Hey, I'm fast. All right. Let's get started. I need a new slide at the beginning. It will say Study English with Pedro. But remember, this is only for reference, not for Então. So let's get started. Vamos começar. Então, stuff. We do this every week. Bold will be the new text. As you veteranos, English veterans know, I have 2 classes that I use for reference. And some of it may be new, some of it may be old. So please be patient, everybody. Italics will be prepositions. And then we have the asterisks with LE ypsilon the final. Adverbs, I'm sorry, with LE ypsilon the final. Not all the words with LE ypsilon are adverbs, however. All right, brackets will be participle. Now, my definition of participle is a little different than the world's definition of participle, but we mostly agree. So you'll see what I mean later. I will explain this in the coming weeks. Then we have red letters will be anything with any words with these any, some, no, and every. I should say all the words with any, some, no, and every. And also, I just started doing the underline, the keywords, which will be underlined and down. Now, we have been looking at Jonah. I have threatened, ameacé, tenho ameaçado, to go back and look at Romans. There was one question in particular. I'm going to wait until we finish Jonah, but we have been looking at Jonah the last 3 weeks, and so far, the popular version of Jonah. This is the popular version. Chapter 1, God called Jonah. Jonah ran. God caught up with Jonah. Now, we looked at that phrasal verb last week, catch up, which is alcanzar. O recuperar. In this case, would be alcanzar, if it's possible that God catches up with Jonah. Now, you can run. Remember, you can run, but you can't hide from God. So God knows that. Então, Jonah went in the water, and a big fish swallowed. Engoliu Jonah. And then chapter 2, Jonah repented, and then the big fish vomited Jonah. So, então, now recently, this is something that's interesting. Scientists found some bones, and it's at the bottom. I guess that's the bottom of the ocean. Ubazi de Oceano, I believe. But they found these bones, and some scientists believe that it was the big fish of Jonah. This is the big fish of Jonah. Maybe this is the one. And from the DNA, the DNA, they built a facsimile. Now, by the way, I looked on Google, and facsimile is the same in Portuguese. You will never see it in English. You'll probably never see it in Portuguese. Probably I have never seen it. But a facsimile, by the way, we get the word fax machine from facsimile. So they built a facsimile of the fish, what they think the fish looked like. Not exact, it's the same but different of the fish. And they also built what they thought was inside the fish's stomach. And and these are the conditions that these scientists believe Jonah suffered. And here it is. So you see the whale swallowed Jonah's wife too. And the whale had all the amenities inside, except a microwave. Now, remember from last week, wave is onda. So Jonah had life pretty good in the belly of the fish. So, all right, let's get to some serious stuff. Keywords. Get up and go. Remember this? Get up and go is kumkata in Hebrew. Go down. I don't know what it is in Hebrew. I don't remember. Go down. But Jonah went down 4 times in chapter 1, the Joppa, into the ship, to the bottom, Bazi, the barco, and then he went into the water. And then last chapter, he went into the whale. That's the end of chapter 1. And then he went down to Sheol, or Agis, in the Greek Agis. Same thing, but only different language. All right, we have more keywords. We have huge. Remember, everything was huge. The Jonah, Nineveh was huge. The fish was huge. The storm, the wind, o vento. Remember, storm is tempestade. So everything was huge. Grandão, imenso. And even the sailors were afraid hugely. Now, hugely does not exist. Please do not blame me. Remember, blame is culpar from, I think, 2 weeks ago. Don't blame me, because I told you this word hugely does not exist, okay? All right, just having fun. Other keywords, we're going to look at the conditionals. Could, would, should. Now in Portuguese, could is poderia, Would is the suffix or suffixo ia. Everybody knows this. Would like, would buy, would bring taria, would buy, compraria, would eat, comeria. So here it's in English, it's a verbo auxiliar. Então, deveria would be should. So could, would, and should. Então, we're going directly to the presentation tonight. It's called Everybody Deserves a Second Chance Among Many. Remember, deserve is merecer. And I told everybody about my boss, Mark Mercer. Mark, if you're watching, my old boss in the United States. Deserve is merecer, and it's very close to his last name, Mercer. So deserve, merecer in Portuguese. Todo mundo merece the second chance, segunda chance, among many. And we will look at this in a little bit. All righty. Vocabulary. We're going directly to the vocabulary tonight. I'm also going to include the Portuguese. In the past, I haven't. So we'll look at that. So we have a different verb, issue. Issue. Now, as a verb, it's emitir. Almost always, emitir. There are some exceptions. There are some others, but usually emitir. Taste. Gastar, paletar. I believe that paletar is correct. Forgive me, but taste, gastar. Então, laugh, rir, or dar risada. I want to call laugh. I don't know why, but I want to call it dar riso. And my daughter, 5-year-old daughter, just told me it's dar risada. Dar risada. Dar riso does not exist. It's only in my vocabulary. Então, and then skin is pele. Pele. Now, don't confuse the pele as I have. So pele. Bone also. So we have skin and bones, muscles, other parts. So bones, we have many bones in our bodies. Angry, nervosa. Of course, I put feminine. I'm joking, girls. So my wife is always angry with me. Now, angry is a little different than mad. Mad is more temporary, and then it goes. Angry stays a little longer than mad, but about the same thing. All right, flat is plano. That's what my head looks like after my wife hits me with the panella, after somebody tells her about what I just said. So flat, plano, flat, something that does not have contours, cantura, I believe in Portuguese, então, flat, plano. Então, throne, trono, and royal, real, almost the same thing. Royal throne would be real trono, so we're almost in the same place. Fast is jejum. Fast, rápido, but here fast is a thing. Can also be a verb. I am fasting. I am fasting means I am not eating anything. So fast, jejum, or I don't know what that would be as a verb. Jejumar. Existe. Então, goat, cabra. Sackcloth. This is pano de saco. And it's a little different. In the United States, it probably had the same jokes, piadas, with sackcloth and pano de saco. The old clothes, the old styles from 50 years ago or more. It was we joked that was sackcloth. Então, robe, hobby, I've heard, and then there's manto. So many people have a robe. After they wear a robe after a shower, they put on their hobby, and that's what I've heard many times in Portuguese. I have never heard manto, but according to Google, we have manto. So ashes, cinza. Now, there is one ash and two ashes, but we never, it's plural, it's contável, but we never say ash. It's always ashes in the plural. So that's why I have ashes for cinza instead of ash. All right. Farm is going to be fazenda. That's easy to remember. Both start with FEA. Farm, fazenda. And then there's downtown, centro de cidade. So we have downtown, city, suburb, and then farm. And then strength. Strength, it would be força. Strength can also be fortaleza. For another day. Today it's going to be strength. Então, more stuff. Change your mind. You change your mind, I change my mind. And in Portuguese, I believe that's reflexive, se mudar. So I changed my mind. You changed your mind. Now, I can change your mind. The verb there would be convince. Convince. Convencer, convince. So change your mind. Mudar your ideia. Now, in English, remember we talked about mind. About is a popular word in English, mind. Give up. Desistir, usually it's desistir, but it can also be renunciar. Então, end up, acabar. Now, this we have looked at. Give up and acabar, and also catch up. We just looked at catch up. Alcanzar or recuperar. So these are three phrasal verbs we have looked at in the past, but we need to look at them again. So it's going to have up at the end. Give up, catch up, and end up. Three popular phrasal verbs in English. All right. Let's go directly to our text. This is going to be Jonah chapter 3. A message from the Lord came to Jonah a second time. The Lord said, "Go to the great city of Nineveh. Preach to its people the message I give you." So Jonah obeyed the Lord. You know this word, obey, obedeceu, and went to Nineveh. It was a very large city. In fact, a person had to walk for 3 days to travel through it. Jonah began by going one day into the city. As he went, he said, "In 40 days, Nineveh will be destroyed." Nineveh will be destroyed. The people of Nineveh believed in God, and they declared a fast and put on sackcloth, from the greatest to the least of them. When the news reached the king of Nineveh, he got up from his throne, took off his royal robe, put on sackcloth, and sat on ashes. This is the proclamation he issued in Nineveh by the message of the king and his officials. Do not let people or animals taste anything. Do not let them eat or drink. But let people and animals be covered, cubrir, with sackcloth. Let everyone call out to God. Let them give up their evil ways and their violence. Who knows? Maybe God will stop being angry and change his mind, and we will not be punished. Remember, punished from 2 weeks ago, punir. God saw what the people did. He saw that they stopped doing evil. So God changed his mind and did not do what he planned. He did not punish the people. All right. Let's look at verses 1 and 2. I combined them here. The message of the Lord came to Jonah a second time. The Lord said, "Go to the great city of Nineveh. Preach its message to the people. Preach to its people the message I give you. Preach to its people the message I give you." Now here it is in Portuguese, much the same. Now here in Portuguese and English, it's the same. Vá, a grande cidade. I don't know how to pronounce that. Unfortunately, with the vowels, it's very definite in English. I don't. English speakers don't do well with the vowels in Portuguese. Whoops. And vá, and here it's a imperativo. So imperativos, of course, in English we don't have the subject. Go to the great city of Nineveh. Actually, it's cum cara. Get up and go. Get up and go to the great city of Nineveh. Not just go. Get up and go. So here it's a little different context. Not just go, but get up and go. Maybe that tells us a little bit about Jonah. Now God called Jonah again, second time, like the first time in Jonah. But in Jonah, it said, "Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it." That's all. And this time, he said, "Preach to its people the message I give you." We will look at that in a few minutes. Now Jonah heard kumkara for the third time. The first time, God said it, and Jonah ran. Second time, the captain said it, and Jonah faced the situation. We looked at face, enfrentar, faced the situation, and ended up in the water. So from the words the captain said to Jonah when he was sleeping. And imagine, because those are the same words, kumkara, Jonah, get up and go, that God told him the first time. Jonah, get up and go to Nineveh. Hear the captain say, get up and pray. And he ended up in the water. And the third time, God said it again. And Jonah finally went to Nineveh. So the first time he ran, the second time he stopped, and the third time he heard kumkara, he finally went to Nineveh. All right. Verse 3. So Jonah obeyed the Lord and went to Nineveh. It was a very large city. In fact, de facto, for some of you, a person had to walk for 3 days to travel through it. Now, it's a little different in the Hebrew, but percorrer, by the way, percorrer, what does that mean in Portuguese? In English, rather, go through. So go through. But the Hebrew is a little different. It says a 3 days journey, 3-day trip. It doesn't say walk for 3 days to travel through it. It just said it was a 3-day journey. We don't know if it was through the city. Now, you know, through is através. We don't know if it was around the city. That is, around the city is alrededor, and the circunferência, I believe, circunferência, no perímetro. Então, so it was around the city, 3 days, or we'll look at this in a little bit, in a few minutes also. How big was Nineveh? This is the question. According to archaeologists, downtown was almost 12 kilometers around. Now, this is circunferência. Ao redor, the final periferia of the city was almost 12 kilometers around. This is according to archaeologists. And it's about the size of most neighborhoods. Now, we know this word most. We have looked at this, I think, twice now. Most, mayoría, dos bairros, here in São Paulo. Cajón, Tutuapé, Peña. So how long does it take? 12 kilometers. That's not very big. I can walk 12 kilometers in 2 hours easily. So the city for 2,700 years ago or more was very small to us, but in this time it was very big. But there were many farms. As you know, every city needs, or country or region needs the infrastructure, infraestructura. And of course, back then they had farms to support. Now remember, support is suportar or apoyar, to support the city. They can't grow the corn, the wheat, the rice in the city, so they have it outside the city. And nobody knows. The city can also be larger, but because of erosion, the city can lose many things. So we don't know. They think it's 12 kilometers around. Anyhow, verse 4. Jonah began by going one day into the city. As he went, he said, in 40 days, Nineveh will be destroyed. Será destruído. Então, so Jonas entered the city. Now, this is a key verb. He entered the city. And we're going to look at that. The reason why it was difficult for Jonah to go to Nineveh. And in Portuguese, say daqui a 40 dias. Now, in English, that's 40 days from now, or in 40 days. In 40 days, Nineveh will be destroyed. 40 days from now, Nineveh will be destroyed. And in Portuguese, aqui is a place or a time. Daqui. Aqui is a place. How can you use that? Well, we have the same problem. Through, através. So I work Monday through Sunday. It's also for time. So as you see, I don't have much time for anything. So I work Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week, more or less. Então, and then we use for times from to, from 8 to 6. I work Monday through Sunday from 8 to 6. Então, now as here is a while he went. Remember this from last week, actually from 2 weeks ago. While is enquanto. Meanwhile, from 2 weeks ago is enquanto isso. But here it's just while. While he went, he said, in 40 days, Nineveh will be destroyed. 7 words. And everybody remembered these 7. In 40 days, Nineveh will be destroyed. The rest, okay. Let's not be destroyed. So now, how long did Jonah walk through the city? Good question. It only says 1 day. Jonah began by going 1 day into the city. It doesn't show how he ended. So it began and ended. We know when it began or how it began with just 1 day. We don't know the second day or the third day, maybe a fourth day. Did Jonah go around the city saying Nineveh will be destroyed, Nineveh will be destroyed? Or did he walk through the city and tell everybody, hey, everybody, don't kill me, but Nineveh will be destroyed, and here's how it will be destroyed. So we don't know what happened, obviously. What happened on the second or third day. Maybe Jonah ran again. We don't know. Now, how did Jonah enter the city? I asked this question. How did Jonah enter the city? Nineveh was a cruel and brutal city. You know these 2 words in Portuguese, cruel, brutal. I didn't need to put that on the list. Cruel and brutal. We just say it differently. Cruel, brutal city. It was cruel and brutal. I have read the things. I mentioned some on the first week, but it is cruel and it was cruel and brutal, and they were very good. Their military was exército was very, very. Some in China, I think in Russia, they still study the tactics from the Ninevites. So very advanced and very brutal. And they would have killed Jonah instantly. They would not have waited. They would have killed. Now here's would, and then have. And now you know we use the verb ter, and then the suffixo ia. Eles teriam matado Jonah instantly. Here, what's he doing? How did he get in the city? Let's kill him and have fun. Divertir. Nos divertir. Então, except for one thing that saved him, that it made this possible. What was the god of Nineveh? Now, we looked at this on the first week. What was the god of Nineveh? The god of Nineveh, in English we say Dagon. You would say Dagon, maybe Dagon. I don't know how it's written in the Portuguese, NEVE, but in English is Dagon. And he was mentioned many times in the Old Testament. It started with the Philistines and another story. But he was half man, half fish. Meo homem, meo peixe. And Jonah had spent 3 days in the stomach. You know that? His stomachache of a fish. And he probably lost his color from the stomach acid. And more important, mais importante, he smelled like a fish. Now, in history, by the way, smell is cheirar. Cheirar. Ele cheirou como peixe. In history, people have been swallowed by fish and lived. And the smell stays here for a long time, if not the rest of their life. So they live smelling like a fish. It's horrible. You can't remove hemover, that smell. So Jonah smelled like a fish, and they probably smelled him from far away. They would have smelled him. Teriam cheirados, him from far away, longe, bem longe. Yes, hey, I smell Jonah. Somebody's coming. Oh, he is 5 kilometers away. Então, and here are the 5 senses, by the way. Now, smell is olfato. Olfato. The sense of taste, gosto, sense of touch, toque, sense of hearing, audição, and sense of sight, visão. So those are the 5 senses. So Jonah, by the way, Jonah smelled like a fish, and the people of Nineveh smelled him. So a little different in the Portuguese. So verse 5, the people of Nineveh believed in God, and they declared a fast and put on sackcloth, from the greatest to the least of them. Então, now here's that word fast, jejum. And Portuguese, do maior ao menor. And it's from to again, from the greatest to the least, from to. Now, maior is, everybody thinks is bigger, but also can be greater. It's a little strange in the differences. Long hair. I have long hair. Here you say cabelo grande. I say I have long hair. Grande can also be great in English. So no strange. And then, of course, they use the word vestir, the verb vestir. In English, they say put on. What is the difference? Now, put on is the act. We put on the clothes. We put on my jacket. And then I wear my jacket all day, for example. So I put on my shoes and I wear my shoes all day. The act in the morning, I put on my shoes and I wear my shoes. Believe it or not, we wear vestir zapatos in English. I'm wearing my shoes. So a little bit different in the English and the Portuguese. Now, what was sackcloth? This was not pano de saco. I don't know why. Maybe it's a conspiracy theory. I don't know. Teoria de conspiração, I believe that is in Portuguese. It was not pano de saco. It was goat skin. I didn't know this until about 10 years ago or more. I never knew that. I had no idea. This was goat skin, pele de cabra. And it is not comfortable. Not comfortable. De jeito nenhum, not comfortable. It is worse than not comfortable. It is very grosso and no, it's not good. But by the way, I looked for goat skin on the internet, and this is the closest I could find. Poderia? This is the closest. This is the only example of goat skin I could find on the internet. So, at least from a human, on a human. So I really looked for everywhere for sackcloth. It wasn't sackcloth. It wasn't pano de saco. It was goat skin from a goat. It was horrible. If you've felt a goat, it's horrible. And so from the greatest to the least of them, what is the opposite of greater? So greatest to the least. What is the opposite of greater? Is lesser. So greater and lesser. Very strange, very different for both of us. Então, verse 6. When the news reached the king of Nineveh, he got up from his throne, took off his royal robe, put on sackcloth, and sat on ashes. Here it is in Portuguese, much the same. But keep in mind that he used 4 actions. He got up from his throne. He took off his royal robe. He put on sackcloth, and he sat on ashes. Those are the 4 prepositions that you don't have. You have some of them in the Portuguese. He took these 4 actions, and all of them involve the preposition. Got up, took off, put on, and then sat on the ashes. All right, there's 4 actions. But I'm sorry, King of Nineveh. I don't want to be disrespectful, full of disrespect. I don't know what disrespect is. Desrespeto. I'm sorry, but we would laugh hysterically. Daríamos risadas in Portuguese. O nos riríamos. I don't know how to say that in Portuguese, but we would laugh hysterically if we saw these people from 2,700 years ago. But culturally, things were very different. But remember, the more things change, the more things stay the same. We just have better conditions than 2,700 years ago. Hilarious. Então, now the idea was to be as comfortable as possible, mais inconfortável possível. Remember, we looked at last time, I believe we looked at as fast as possible. No, we didn't. As fast as possible. Run as fast as mais rápido possível. Mais inconfortável. Condição. We will look at these more every week. As. There's igualdade. Igualdade. I am as tall as, I don't know. I'm as tall as Ernesto, I think I used last week. So, all right. Now, did Jonah meet the king? Now here it says when the news noticias reached the king of Nineveh. So this was not from Jonah; it was from Humor when the news reached the king. So did Jonah meet the king? Probably not. So he didn't talk to everybody. So Jonah probably didn't meet the king. No. By the way, reach alcanzar in this other case when it reached, I would say maybe in Portuguese you would say arrived. Cuando as noticias chegaron. Então, verse 7. This is the proclamation he issued in Nineveh. By the message of the king and his nobles, do not let people or animals taste anything. Do not let them eat or drink. So this is the proclamation he issued, emitiu, in Nineveh. Now, by the way, I highlighted nobles, but you will never see this word noble. Here is nobody. And here you have bairros nobres. In English, it's rich neighborhoods. So, so by the message of the king and his nobles, do not let people or animals taste anything. Ooh, this is a little severo. And do not let them eat or drink. And now here we have two lets. Do not let people or animals taste, and do not let them eat or drink. Oof. Now here in Portuguese, say now é permitido. Let is remember, let is permission, permitir. On the second one, it says não comam ou nem bebam. In English, we say let. Então, now also, provar and experimentar with food. Provar, experimentar. Now, provar is for math. And experimentar, for me, is for scientists. So, but here you use the words with food. Provar, experimentar, comida. Now, in English, we say taste is the sense. And then try. Oh, I can't taste anything. Oh, Pedro, you have coronavirus. Go to the hospital. So I can't taste anything. Usenso. Now try or taste. Taste it, Pedro. This is very good. My mother made this. Try it or taste it one time and you will like it. So here, provar, experimentar can be both. But just for the sense, you can't taste anything. You can't say try. It's always taste. So, então. And verse 7 again, do not let them eat or drink anything. We can say the same thing. Remember, son omega por frase. Do not let them eat or drink anything. The negative here is do not let. Or let them eat or drink nothing. And here the negative is in nothing. So, então, verse 8. But let people, more lets here. Let people and animals be covered with sackcloth. Let everyone call out to God. Let them give up their evil ways and their violence. So here it is in Portuguese, and there's only one deixar. Now let can be deixar, permitir deixar. Now here it says deixam os maus caminhos, maus caminhos e violência. But here it's the other deixar. It's leave the bad ways and the violence, not let them give up. So give up here is desistir, their evil ways, maus caminhos, and the violence. And by the way, covered would be here is cobrir, and here in cubrum se. Oh, there is no way I can remember this word cubrum. The verbos irregulares in Portuguese are very difficult. Cubrum se. Oh, nossa. Então, good luck, Pedro. Então, now what is the most famous expression with let? Hopefully everybody knows this from history. Let them eat cake. Deixam eles, deixa o povo comer bolo, o bolo, né? Hopefully everybody remembers that from the French history. All right. Verse number 9, who knows? Maybe God will stop being angry and change his mind, and we will not be punished. Punished from last week, I believe, or 2 weeks ago, is punir. So now in Portuguese, you use sejamos, in this case, sejamos destruídos, which doesn't exist in English. Seja bem-vindo. You will be welcome here. And here's we will not be punished, and we will not be punished. Who knows? Quem sabe? Which is not here in the Portuguese. Maybe God will stop being angry and change his mind. Now, in Portuguese, it uses arrepender. And in English, we used arrepender until I think 200 or 300 years ago. Now, arrepender today is, by the way, is regret or repent. Now, for religious purposes, it's repent. But by the way, maybe, talvez, or maybe, which one? Maybe is talvez. Maybe, pode ser. But arrepender, by the way, arrepender is a change of mind, change of ways, and really a change of heart. And also it involves the feeling sorry. Sentir muito. Arrepender, de novo. So I hit your car. I'm very sorry. I regret hitting your car. I repent. I hit your car. I'm very sorry. I'm getting driver's license. I will do everything I can. I'm sorry. I'm getting driving lessons. Lições de dirigir. I will never do this again. That would be more like repent. So it's changing your ways, changing your mind, changing your heart also. Então, verse 10, God saw what the people did. He saw that they stopped doing evil. So God changed his mind and did not do what he had planned. And there it is again, I have been there. Repent and change your mind. I knew it was in there somewhere. And by the way, repent is part of our faith kit. And one day we will look at this faith kit. It's very important. So maybe in another month or so. Então, verse 10 again, here it is. He will not punish the people. Now, Pedro's revised history. Historia revisada. I don't look at things the same way as the world. Now, I don't believe in conspiracy theories. Teorias de conspiração. I don't believe in them. Because many of them aren't conspiracies. They're crazy, wacko. I don't know how you say that. Local. For one, is the world is flat. And by the way, if you learned in school that people thought the world is flat, like I was taught the world is flat, or they thought 500 years ago the world is flat. Nobody in history believed the world was flat. Even from the ancient people, they knew the world was round. Nobody, they cannot find anything that says the world is flat, except there's one mention, and it's more marketing, propaganda. The same reason why we call Iceland, Iceland, and Greenland, Greenland. They called Iceland, ice, gelo. Green, oh, that's verde, trees. So they wanted to keep people away from Iceland. I don't know what Iceland is in Portuguese, and they wanted people, hey, try this Greenland. It's very good. It's green. No, it isn't. So that was marketing. So nobody thought the world was flat. So that is except people believe it today. Remember, I said people are easily led. Easily led. I don't know how you say that. Now, liderado, deixado facilmente. They will believe anything today. I don't know what it is. I do know what it is, but it takes too long. But so according to them, this is the world. So and people today believe it. And we'll look at more of these in the future, by the way. Some crazy things in science, even. And nobody has ever been to the moon. Remember, ever to the temple. Nobody has ever been to the moon. I'm sure you've seen that. Well, here's Steven Spielberg. He's shooting a movie on the moon. Of course they went to the moon. All right. And everybody famous is still alive that died tragically. Tragicamente. Michael Jackson is still alive. Elvis Presley. You remember Elvis Presley? Oh, no, it's been a long time. So he's still alive, apparently. Even Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler probably lived. That one I think it can be true. Probably lived in Argentina. But when I was a kid, people thought that Adolf Hitler lived in a cave close to my house, less than 100 kilometers from my house, and people believed it. So very strange. And it goes back to Nero from almost 2,000 years ago, the Roman emperador. So there were rumors that Nero was still alive. He didn't die. So it's an old rumor, just different people. All right. And there's one more rumor, one more conspiracy theory. I wouldn't call it a conspiracy theory, but what is it? Jonah never should have run from God. What? He never should have. Now here's deveria ter fugido. Now run, correr or fugir. We can use both. So Jonah never should have run from God. Pedro, this is a little crazy. What are you talking about, Pedro? Well, this is the conventional moral of the story. Remember, this is not a one-time thing. People think Jonah decide, oh, I can't do this. No, this is part of his psyche. Do you say psyche in Portuguese? This is part of Jonah. This isn't just de repente. Oh, I can't do this. I'm going to run. No, Jonah was Jonah was depressed, but there's more to it that we'll look at in the future. God knew Jonah was going to run. God knew. How? The only way Jonah was going to enter Nineveh this is the only way. Remember, this is a cruel civilization, cruel city, very cruel. The only way he's going to get in is by smelling like a fish. Remember, Dagon is their god, half fish. So Jonah 1 and Jonah 3 are not separate stories. They're part of the same story. Chapter 1, God sent Jonah on Jonah's own strength. Remember, go and preach to the people. So, and Jonah failed miserably. There's a word miserable, miserável, miserably, miseravelmente. Falhou miseravelmente doesn't make sense. Well, in Portuguese, it doesn't make sense. Horrivelmente, falhou horrível. Oh, nossa. I don't know if that exists even in Portuguese, but he failed. Nossa, he failed. Então, just like us. When we try to do things on our own strength, we don't have the power of God. Poder Deus with us. We think we are going to do for God. And many people fail miserably and they leave. They leave the faith because they didn't have the fundação, the foundation, and they failed miserably, just like us. But God prepared Jonah for the work he had to do. God prepared him in ways we don't understand. God sent him into the water from the beginning. It wasn't a reaction. And it's the same way that God prepares us. If we are ready to enter, if we're ready to get involved, God prepares us in ways we don't understand. And Jonah, I'm sure didn't understand it, but maybe he did. We will look at this in chapter 4. But God knew Jonah was going to run, enter the water, get out, and go to Nineveh, because that's how he entered. It was possible. Now, what about the people of Nineveh? In 40 days, Nineveh will be destroyed. Did they go back to their old ways? Did they go back to their old ways? For some, yes, I'm sure. It happens. I can't say 100%, but I'm sure yes. And when did it start? Well, probably on the 41st day. So what about us? About us? We have the coronavirus now. And many people are returning to the faith. But soon it will pass. Probably in a month or two, the numbers will go down a lot. And soon people will forget the coronavirus, maybe even a vaccine. But they remember these days now. Their faith was stronger during these days. But many of us will go back to our old ways. I'm sure, just like Jonah did many times. Jonah was not was not the perfect person that we see him. But Jonah is extremely important to understand, and we will look at him more in the next week, and then one more week, and in ways that we don't see in the Old and the New Testament. We don't understand. But what about you? What about you? Coronavirus will pass. What about you? Are you going to go back to your old ways, or are some of these changes going to be permanent? Are you going to let God guide you and direct you? Jonah went on his own strength, and he got nowhere. He went into the water. He died, basically. But what about us? What about you? Are you going to make those changes? Are you going to let God take charge, control, give control to God? So, next week, we are going to diagnose Jonah. We are going to be psychologists, not psychologistas, psychologists. We're going to diagnose Jonah and Job. Very interesting. So, but here we're going to stop. And so we will see you next week. For my students, see you in class. For anybody visiting tonight, we will see you next week at the same time, Sunday at 9 o'clock. All right, everybody, have a good night. Sleep well, and see you next week.